Hey, there's Mike here. You guys know me as Mike from Maine. And today we're going to be taking a look at a video called How Much I Make Selling Stickers on Etsy 1.5 Years from a guy called Tim Koa. Now, this video has 28,000 likes on it and only 284 dislikes and almost 1 million views. So people really like this. Let's take a look at exactly how he's selling stickers, how much money he's making doing it. I'm gonna go ahead and like this video. If you guys can like this video as well, I'd really appreciate it. It helps out with my channel. And hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Let's jump into it.
So I started selling stickers on Etsy back in August 2020, and I've had some pretty good results so far.
There's some crazy money people that are making selling stuff on Etsy, just printable stuff, meaning that you don't have to actually deliver anything. Digital products on Etsy. I've heard multiple success stories of it. I'm really interested in seeing like what kind of money does he make? Does he make $100 a month, $1,000, $10,000? Let's take a look.
In this video, I'm going to be sharing all my sales numbers from the very beginning.
I love it when people share their numbers. Thank you.
But before I get started, the reason I'm sharing this video is in no way to brag or flex at all. The reason I'm sharing this information is because personally, when I see other YouTubers sharing how much they make on their channels, I just find that stuff really inspiring. And that's one of the major reasons I started my Etsy shop in the first place.
It's nice to see people share these real numbers because there's so much BS out there as far as like people making income claims. And if you can see stuff that's actually backed up and get a realistic idea of what people are actually making, it makes it so that our goals and aspirations can be based on reality and not based on this like crazy hype of making like millions of dollars a day that very few people do.
So what I'm going to do is just break everything down into chapters, and I'm going to be talking about what I was doing and what I was feeling during those time periods.
I like this.
So I'm just going to start with 2020 first, and in August I made $56.37. In September I made
Well, look at that. So he started out normal, 56 bucks. That's great. I mean, a great first month that he was able to see that the proof of concept works. And then 446, this is gonna be interesting.
$146.79. October was $588.08. November was $496.06. And December was $741.18.
Look at that. Those are solid numbers for the first 1, 2, 3, 5 months of doing it. I wonder how he did in 2021.
So like I said, I started this back in August 2020, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't really know exactly why I got started. I'm the type of person who always has a lot of ideas. Like back in university, I had all these ideas of making the next big app and making a big company that's gonna make me $1 million one day. But every time I never really acted on any of the ideas. And I kind of just fell into the routine of working at my job and not really thinking about business anymore.
So the problem is a lot of people have ideas, and I'll get emails from people sometimes saying, Mike, I've got this great idea. Let's do this together. And I'm like, dude, the ideas are worth nothing unless you implement it and like take action.
But something happened in August. Maybe it was because of the pandemic. There was just something inside me that really wanted to start something. So I had this idea for stickers, and instead of sitting back and leaving it as an idea, I decided to actually try to make it a business. So to get started, I started looking into platforms that I could use, and Etsy really stood out as the fastest and easiest way to get started. So that's what I did.
Etsy's a great place. If you've got anything to sell, like a lot of times people sell like crafts and stuff on there, but it's a marketplace with built-in traffic. Of course, they reward you if your stuff sells. So if your stuff doesn't sell, they're not going to send you traffic. But if your stuff is selling, they'll send you traffic. Of course, they take a commission for the traffic they send you.
So I set up my store and I set up my first listings, and I started to get sales. Honestly, looking back now, this was the funnest part of the whole experience, because in the beginning, you have no expectations and there's like no stress at all. You're just trying this new thing. You have no idea what you're doing, and it's just pure fun. Later on, when your business starts to grow, you'll start to get like stressed over things. So if you're in this beginning part, try to cherish it, because it really doesn't last for that long. But yeah, one of the best things was just making extra money. Like I wasn't making much money at this time. Like if you look at the numbers, like $400 to $500 a month.
Still, $400 and $500 a month, that's depending upon what your salary is. But for most people, that's like decent money that's going to help out with paying bills, rent, mortgage, car payment. So it's pretty decent.
Month. For most people, that's not a life-changing amount of money, right? But for me, it kind of was, because I grew up trying to be really frugal all the time, and I was just trying to save as much money as possible. But when I was making this extra amount of money per month, I was able to enjoy life a little more. Like, instead of being frugal all the time, I could start to treat myself a little bit without feeling any guilt. I was buying Pokemon cards, and it was really nice. Things like that. But yeah, the biggest
I still don't understand these Pokemon cards. Like, does anyone watching, do you buy Pokemon cards? I think I missed it. Like when I was a kid, I don't think that was around. Maybe after I'm too old for it. But now I see people buying Pokemon, like old Pokemon cards, and like selling them and pulling out these cards that are worth like tons and tons of money, and their whole YouTube channels that are being made on it. Like Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income, he created a hobby channel about Pokemon, and it's doing really well because people are really passionate about it.
Unlock in my brain at this time was that it was possible to make extra money, and it was possible to do it while you were doing something that was fun and enjoyable. So in the first months of 2021, in January, I
Nice, $1,000 a month. That's a nice milestone to hit.
made $1,036.65. February, I made $1,119.39. In March, I
Ooh, look at that, starting to go up.
made $2,632.15. And in April, I made $3,047.96. So that's a pretty big jump already from my previous months. And what I was feeling at this time was that this wasn't just a hobby anymore. It was becoming a thing on its own.
Yeah.
These were the months where I started to get more serious. I began to do a lot of research online about how to create a really successful Etsy shop. And this is the time where I really learned about SEO. I really learned about Etsy ads. I really learned about how to compete against other stores and to make my product photos and everything pop. I feel like I really learned the ropes during this time. Like in the beginning, whenever I would get an order, I would be like, oh my God, I got an order. And I would put like an hour into making the order, even though it was just like for $13. But during these months, I was really becoming like a professional sticker maker. I had all the steps laid out, and whenever an order came in or many orders came in, I was able to bang them out really quickly.
Yeah, you become professional about it, and maybe you can hire people, maybe you can start not having to do all the work yourself, and you have the budget to be able to do that.
But yeah, during this time, I felt like I had to get serious because my business was real now. This wasn't just a random thing I was doing during my free time anymore. I had customers and I had people wanting to buy my product, so it was a real business.
See how this goes.
In May, I sold
Okay, so it went down in May, which is interesting.
$2,735.58. In June, I
And then it went right back up. Look at that.
sold $4,007.02. In July, I sold $5,400.16. And in August, I sold
almost 10K.
$9,375.15. So during this time, my sales were doubling like every few months. As you can see, they were going from like $400 to $500 to $1,000, and then to $2,000, and then to $4,000, and then to $9,000. I thought that this was going to be going on forever and ever, and eventually I'd be selling $100,000 every month. And honestly, I thought I was going to be rich. I thought I was going to be a millionaire. I was kind of thinking to myself that, wow, oh, business is pretty easy. Like it's easy to create a business and it's easy to become a millionaire. But the funny thing is, looking back during this time, it was actually the most stressful time in my entire life. Because you have to remember that every time these sales were doubling, the amount of work that I had to do was doubling too. At the time,
I wonder what his deliverability is like, or his delivery is like. How is he creating every single thing custom? Does he have it all done? I'd be curious about how long it takes him to produce an order.
I was still working full-time at my normal job, and this Etsy thing, making stickers, was still a thing that I was only doing during evenings and weekends. And instead of just like putting together orders for 1 hour every night, it was taking me sometimes 4 hours to get all the orders ready and ship them out the next morning. So yeah, during that time, I had no social life. I had no time for myself.
That's what you have to do though. If you want to build a business, you have to sacrifice, and you can't, like, sometimes your friends are going to say come out, or even your family. Unfortunately, there's sometimes, like right now, my kids are in the other room. I would love to be playing with them, but I tell them, I'm like, look, if you want to have If we want to have nice things, we want toys, and we want food and a place to stay, daddy needs to work sometimes. So there are sacrifices that everyone needs to make in order to be successful.
I had no time to relax, and it was just really stressful. And not only that, I was stressed about the future because my sales were doubling so fast. I was thinking in the next few months I would be selling $20,000 a month and then $40,000 a month, right? And I really wasn't able to make that amount of stickers with the equipment that I had. So I was looking into scaling, and that in itself was really stressful. I was looking at commercial printing machines, commercial cutting machines. I was looking at office spaces that I could maybe rent, how to hire employees and how to manage them.
It's kind of fun though, getting into that kind of stuff and getting to that point. I mean, he's got the money to do it. That's great.
Because I really didn't want to purposely slow down any sales. Like a lot of people, they get stressed and they will put their shop on vacation mode. But from what I've read, like putting your shop on vacation mode really hinders the momentum that your store has. And I really didn't want to do that. So I was thinking of ways that I could scale as fast as possible. And it just really added to my stress as well. Like it wasn't really good for my mental health at all. But yeah, looking back at that time, it was pretty crazy. It was a huge roller coaster of emotions. And I'm actually glad that I never really figured out how to scale because I would have wasted a lot of money.
Okay, so what happens next? A humbling, what's gonna happen here?
Okay, so moving on to the last 4 months of the year. In September, I made $4,923.03. In October, I made $3,020.01. In November, I made $3,621.
Still good money though.
And 16 cents. And in December, I made $2,758.
Why are his sales going down? Look, at his visits increased 216% compared to the same period last year. So he's getting much more than the previous year, but it's interesting how it went down like that. I wonder why August was such a great month.
So yeah, after the crazy ride of sales going up every month and thinking I was going to be a millionaire faster than I expected, sales slowed down a lot. It was a pretty big reality check for me. I think it was the universe
That must have been pretty disappointing.
saying that it's not going to be this easy. And honestly, I was pretty sad because I thought my business was dying. I started looking around the internet for reasons why this could be happening. I went onto like Etsy forums and Reddit, and there's people saying the same thing of like Etsy sales were slowing down at this time. And
Maybe it's because of the whole pandemic was ending and less people were online maybe?
how it's because Etsy was changing the algorithm, or how the economy was bad and a lot of stores were struggling. And I kind of just got caught up in this mentality where I was just blaming everyone else for my problems. I was blaming Etsy for maybe changing the algorithm and killing my shop. I was blaming the government and even blaming COVID for causing like this economic crash where people weren't buying on Etsy anymore. But I realized during this time that this is where you have to focus on yourself, and this is where you have to focus on what you can do as a person. I started to look at the things that I could actually do, like the things that I could do to improve my shop and to improve my store. I even got into creating another store off of Etsy so I wasn't so Etsy reliant.
It's a good idea though to try to make it so that you don't have all your eggs in one basket. I mean, that's smart.
And mentally, I got myself into a much healthier place, I think. I had to remind myself that this is still good money, right? Like a lot of people are wishing to sell $2,000-$3,000 a month. And here I am complaining how this isn't enough because I used to be making more. When really, when you think about it, this thing just started like barely a year ago. And I should be grateful for what I have already. And yeah, I think it was just naive to think that business is that easy. And I think I was way too focused on just the monthly trends, that I have to remember that this is a long-term game. What I'm trying to do is build a business that's gonna last me many, many years. And if I'm gonna do that, I have to start looking at the big picture. Instead of looking at sales month per month, I have to look at them year over year.
Well, I think he can still look month after month, but maybe he can take the knowledge that he's gained by selling stickers and start other stores as well and start selling other things. I mean, he's learned a ton that he can now apply, and he could even teach other people how to make stores too.
But yeah, with all that being said and looking at the numbers from my past 4 months, you might think that I'm pessimistic going into 2022, and that's really not the case at all. I think that I've grown a lot as a person during the last year, and I'm ready to just take everything that I've learned and just to apply it and see how far I can go. And I'm just gonna focus on the things that I can do and can control, and just whatever happens, happens. So if you're watching this and you're anything like me back in August 2020, and you have this idea to start something and you just never got around to it, I wanna say to you, now's the time.
It's pretty motivational. I like this video. I'd be curious, you guys, I'm gonna have a link to this video in the description below. If you wanna go check out, this one was made a year ago. So if you wanna check out and see what he's doing now, go ahead and check him out.
There's always going to be reasons not to do something. There's always going to be things happening in your life where the timing might not be perfect, or maybe you feel like you don't have the knowledge or the ability to get started. But if you feel like you don't have time, what you can do is prioritize what's important in your life and cut out what's not. And if you feel like you don't know how, like, you can learn. Everything that I've learned starting this business is from YouTube and Google. I had no.
So you can learn so much from YouTube and Google. I mean, paid courses are great if you've got the money to invest and you trust the person that's putting out the course. But you can, if you don't have the money, you can learn so much for free.
Idea how to make a sticker and run a business 2 years ago, but you're never gonna learn if you never try, right? And I've just been having this thought at the back of my mind that the internet is just really amazing. We're so lucky to be growing up in a time where the internet is accessible for so many people. And the internet really provides an opportunity that didn't exist before. Like if our grandparents wanted to start a business in their free time, they really couldn't because they'd be working full time during the day and during the nighttime, everything would be closed.
I don't know what I would have done without the internet. Like if I had been born even 10 years earlier, like I don't know what I would have done. It's amazing that I've been able to make my living and all my money online.
Nowadays, when you get home or maybe you're working from home, like you have the time to go on the internet and start a business from your phone or from your laptop. And it can make you a lot of money.
I don't know about from your phone. It's going to be hard to, I mean, maybe you can research from your phone, but you need a laptop.
Money, and it can change your life. So yeah, if you're hyped up and you're ready to start your own Etsy shop, check out my video where I go through 100 of the best Etsy shops of the year. I think it's a really good video for beginners to watch because it highlights the 3 most important things in what I think makes a successful Etsy shop. And in my next video, I'll be talking, so if you're interested in that.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, how much I make selling stickers on Etsy 1.5 years. I thought it was really good, really well done. And I appreciate his transparency, sharing his numbers, sharing not only his wins, but his losses as well. You guys, like I said, you can check out his video in the link below if you want to check out his story and see how he's going now. Also, if you can like this video, it really helps out my channel and I appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button and bell notification. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks.